Okay, let's keep reading. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. For a few days, the school could talk of little else but the take on Mrs. Norris. French kept it fresh in everyone's mind by passing the spot where she had been attacked. Although he thought the attacker might have come back, Harry had seen him scribbling the message on the wall with Mrs. Scover's all-purpose magical mass remover, but to no effect. The words still gleamed as brightly as ever on the stone. When Fletch wasn't guarding the scenes of the crime, he was skulking red-eyed through the corridors, lunging out at the unsuspecting students and trying to put them in detention for things like breathing loudly and looking happy. Ginny Weasley seemed very disturbed by Mrs. Norris' fate. According to Ron, she was a great cat lover, but you haven't really got to know Mrs. Norris, Ron told her brazenly. Bran? Oh, what? Brazen. Brazenly. Honestly, we're much better off without her. Ginny's lip trembled. Stuff like this doesn't often happen at Hogwarts, Ron assured her. They'll catch the maniac who did it and have him out of here in no time. I just hope he's got time to petrify Finch before he's expelled. I'm only joking, Ron added hastily as Ginny balanced. Wait, what? Blanched. Blanched, blanched. The attack has also had an effect on Hermione. It was quite usual for Hermione to spend a lot of time reading, but she was now doing almost nothing else. Nor could Harry and Ron get much response from her when they asked what she was up to, and not until the following Wednesday did they find out. Harry had been held back in potions, where Snape had made him stay behind to scrap tube worms over the desk. What's tube worms? I don't know, whatever. After a hurried lunch, he went upstairs to meet Ron in the library, and saw Justin Flinchly, the Hufflepuff boy from her biology, coming toward him. Harry had just opened his mouth to say hello when Justin caught sight of him. Turned up. Oh, what? Turned abruptly and sped off in the opposite direction. Harry found Ron at the back of the library, mentioning his history of magic homework. Professor Pims had asked for a 3-foot long composition on the medieval assembly of European wizards. I don't believe it. I'm still 8 inches short, said Ron furiously, letting go of his parchment, which sprang back into a row, and Hermione's down 4 feet 7 inches and her writing's tiny. Where is she? Asked Harry, grabbing the tape measure and unrolling his own homework. Measure, okay. The tape measure and unrolling his own homework. Somewhere over there, said Ron, pointing along the shelves, looking for another book. I think she's trying to read the whole library before Christmas. Harry told Ron about Justin Flint Frenchly running away from him. Don't know why you care. I thought he was a bit of an idiot, said Ron. scribbling away, making his writing as large as possible. All that junk about Lockhart being so great. Scribbling. Shit, scribbling. Hermione emerged from between the bookshelves. She looked. Okay, I swear to God, I saw this word somewhere before, but I still forgot what the fuck's that. Irritable. She looked irritable, and at last seems ready to talk to them. All the copies of Hogwarts, a history have been taken out, she said, sitting down next to Harry and Ron, and there's a 2-week waiting list. I wish I hadn't left my copy at home, but I couldn't fit it in my truck with all the Lockhart books. Why do you want it? Said Harry. The same reason everyone else wants it, said Hermione, to read up on the legend of the Chamber of Secrets. What's that? Said Harry quickly. That's just it. I can't remember, said Hermione, biting her lip, and I can't find the story anywhere else. Hermione, let me read your composition, said Ron. Desperately, oh, desperately. Yeah, I said, I swear to God. I saw this words multiple times, but I still forgot what it means. Jesus, what? Am I goldfish or something? Desperately checking his watch. No, I won't, said Hermione, suddenly severe. You've had 10 days to finish it. I only need another 2 inches. Come on. The bell rang. Ron and Hermione led the way to History of Magic. Bickering. History of Magic was a. Wait, someone's talking outside my house. However, History of Magic was the tourist subject on their schedule. Dude, what? Taoist. Taoist subject on their schedule. Professor Beams, who taught it, was their only ghost teacher, and the most exciting thing that had ever happened in his classes was his entering the room through the blackboard, ancient and revealed. What the fuck? Shriveled. Many people said he hadn't noticed he was dead. He had simply got up to teach one day and left his body behind him in an armchair in front of the staff room fire. His routine had not varied in the slightest sense. Today was as boring as ever. Professor Beams opened his nose and began to read in a flat drone like an old vacuum cleaner until nearly everyone in the class was in a deep stupor. Hmm. Stupor, shit. Stupor. Stupor. Occasionally coming too long enough to copy down a name or date, then falling asleep again. He had been speaking for half an hour when something happened that had never happened before. Hermione put up her head. Professor Beams, glancing up in the middle of a deadly dull lecture on the International Warlock Convention of 2089, looked amazed. Miss, Granger Professor, I was wondering if you could tell us anything about the Chamber of Secrets, said Hermione in a clear voice. Dean Thomas, who had been sitting with his mouth hanging open, gazing out of the window, jerked out of his trance. threads. Lavender Brown's head come up of her arms and nearly locked long buttons. Elbows slipped off his desk. Professor Beans blinked. My subject is history as magic, he said in his dry, wheezy voice. I deal with facts, Miss Gringer, not myths and legends. He cleared his throat with a small noise like chalk, snapping, and continued. In September of that year, a subcommittee of Shradini, what sorcerers, subcommittee, subcommittee of Shradini, what the fuck, I don't care. He started to a halt. Hermione's hand was waving in the air again. Miss Grint, please, sir, don't the legends always have a basis in fact? Professor Payne was looking at her in such amazement. Harry was sure no student had ever interrupted him before, alive or dead. Well, 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 said Professor Pym slowly. Yes, one could argue that, I suppose. He peered at Hermione as though he had never seen a student properly before. However, the legend of which you speak is such a very sensational, sensational, even ludicrous tale. Wow, ludicrous. This vocabulary sounds like something will come out in Elden Ring. It's like a old English type shit. I don't know for me because I'm not native, so I don't know it. Okay, even ludicrous tale, right? Ludicrous tale. But the whole class was now hanging on Professor Beam's every word. He looked dimly at them all. Every face turned to his. Harry could tell he was completely thrown by such an unusual show of interest. Oh, very well, he said slowly. Let me see. The Chamber of Secrets. You all know, of course, that Hogwarts was founded over 1,000 years ago. The precious date is uncertain. Shit, the precise date is uncertain, but the four greatest witches and wizards of the age, the four school houses are named after them: Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Ro- Rowena Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. They built this castle together, far from prying Muggle eyes, for it was an age when magic was feared by common people, and witches and wizards suffered much persecution. Actually, I don't know why. Actually, I don't know why the wizards should fear of that, because you literally have a fucking magic power. So maybe you can just fight back with your magic. So why are you fear of muggles? What persecution? He posed, glazed, bleh, bleh, glazed what? He posed, gazed blearily around the room, and continued. For a few years, the founders worked in harmony together, seeking out youngsters who showed signs of magic and bringing them to the castle to be educated. But the disagreements spread up between them. A rift began to grow between Slytherin and the others. Slytherin wished to be more selective. Yeah, selective about students admitted to Hogwarts. He believed that magical learning should be kept within all magical families. He disliked taking students of Muggle parentage. Parentage, believing them to be untrustworthy. After 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 actually I'm curious about how to pronounce after in English accent. After after a while, there was a serious argument of the subject between Slytherin and Gryffindor, and Slytherin left the school. Professor Beams paused again, pursing his lips. Per- purse, pursing his lips, looking like a wrinkled old tort. What? Wait, wrinkled, 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 wrinkled old. Tortoise, 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 tortoise. So the so the British accent is like R. There no R in British accent. Just right, right. Tortoise. Reliable historical sources tell us this much, he said, but this honest fact has been obs- obscured, obscured by the obscured by the fanciful legend of the Chamber of Secrets. The story goes that Slytherin had built a hidden chamber in the castle, of which the other founders knew nothing. Slytherin, according to legend, sealed the Chamber of Secrets so that none would be able to open it until his own true heir, arrived at the school. The heir alone would be able to unseal the Chamber of Secrets, unleash the horror within, and use it to purge the school of all who were unworthy to study magic. There was silence as he finished telling the story, but it wasn't the unusual, sleepy silence that filled Professor Beam's glasses. There was unease. What? Unease. In the air, as everyone continued to watch him, hoping for more, Professor Beam looked faintly annoyed. Faintly, faintly annoyed. The whole thing is errant nonsense. Errant nonsense, of course, he said. Naturally, the school has been searched for evidence of such a chamber many times, but most learned witches and wizards it does not exist. A tale told to frighten the gullible. Hermione's hand was back in the air. Sir, what exactly do you mean by the horror within the chamber? That is believed to be some sort of monster, which the ear of Slytherin alone can control, said Professor Beams in his dry, reedy voice. The class exchanged nervous looks. I tell you the thing does not exist, said Professor Beams. Oh oh, I'm starting to have more interested in the lore of Harry Potter mean, the interest fire is kind of boom, appear, spark, shuffling his nose. There's no jumper and no monster. But sir, said Simmons Finnegan, if the chamber can only be opened by Slytherin's true ear, no one else would be able to find it, would they? Nonsense. Oh, Flannery, said Professor Beams in an aggravated tone. If a long succession of Hogwarts headmaster and headmistress, headmistresses have found the thing, but Professor popped up Parvati Patel, you would probably have to use dark magic to open it. Just because a wizard doesn't use dark magic doesn't mean he can't. Miss Pennyfeather snapped Professor Beams. I repeat, if the like of Dumbledore. But maybe you've got to be related to Slytherin, so Dumbledore couldn't. Began Dean Thomas, but Professor Beams had enough. That will do, he said sharply. It is a myth. It does not exist. There's not a shred of evidence that Slytherin ever built so much as a secret button cupboard. Shred. Well, not a shred of evidence, okay, shred. I regret telling you such a foolish story. We will return, if you please, to history, to solid, believable, uh, verifiable fact. And within 5 minutes, the class has sunk back into its usual torpor. Uh-oh, torpor. Okay, let's do this 20 minutes. And actually, I don't know how to I don't know how to describe that, but the interest level in my mind is rising up because the mystery chamber. Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. I really want to know what happened to that chamber. But yeah, that's 20 minutes.